Hello everybody, my name is Omnixius, and I am the writer of the Dragon Knight Prophecy and the new story, Heather the Necromancer. And this is going to be a little bit of I guess I want to gush a little bit about my stories, particularly Heather. And I want to talk about the future of the stories, what I'm trying to accomplish, and a little bit about myself. So I'm going to speak fast. I'm going to say, you'll see as we get through this, I'm going to get a little faster. And that's because I used to do a lot of YouTube recordings. I used to play a lot of games on YouTube. And I learned to speak quickly so that I can condense the videos down. You know, the faster you can get your point across, the shorter you can make the videos. Because a lot of people don't like 15, 20-minute videos. They want 5, 10 minutes tops. So let's move into this. I'm somebody who comes from a background of not writing. You know, I haven't taken any courses in writing. I have no training in writing. In fact, I'm so bad at English grammar that I've been teaching myself grammar as I write. I started the Dragon Knight Prophecy thanks to a lovely woman by the name of K.M. Rice. That's her pen name. She writes a book called Darkling. If you want a dark fantasy sort of story that has a bit of a mind bender in it, it leaves you just lost in the dark for quite a long time before things start to come together. Check it out. It's an interesting read, and I don't even know how to classify it in a genre. Dark fantasy is the best I can come up with. So, thanks to Kelly, I tried writing again, and the Dragon Knight Prophecy is the fruit of that endeavor. I put it on Royal Road, and the Dragon Knight Prophecy has always been successful. It has always grown. It's got a couple of detractors, a couple of negative reviews, but the positive reviews dramatically outweigh the negative ones. You know, for every negative review or rating I have, I've got 10 positive ones. So the Dragon Knight Prophecy is a huge success. But in the time that it's been online, I have seen other people come along, post a story, you know, and I read their stuff. This, you know, I'm a newbie writer. This is my first story. I just want to see if anybody likes it, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I watch them in 2 weeks catch up to me and then rocket past me in followers and ratings and in comments. You know, just I have 300 followers in the Dragon Knight Prophecy right now. I watch some of these people, you know, and I've been on for months. Some of these people, 2 weeks later, they have 3,000 followers. And I'm scratching my head like, what is going on here? You know, I love my story and I love my characters, and it means a lot to me. So I started exploring, and I started talking to my readers and my Patreons. And one of my lovely Patreons pointed out that I have a good story with the Dragon Knight Prophecy, but that Royal Road is perhaps not the best place for my story. Royal Road's audience tends to like a certain type of writing, and that one of those types is the LitRPG format, which I didn't even know existed until I came to Royal Road. So I started reading some of these. I read Metaworld Chronicles, I read Everybody Likes Big Chests, and then I stumbled on The Wandering Inn, a story that for the first 3 or 4 chapters, I told myself, I don't like this story. Why am I reading this? I don't like this. What is this silliness? What is this nonsense that's going on here? And then 20 chapters later, I was still saying that to myself, but here I am still reading. Like, I can't get enough, you know? And at that point, my mind kind of clicked. It's like, you need to stop saying you don't understand this, or you don't understand why anybody reads this, if you're just going to keep turning the page and reading the next one. You know what I mean? You need to just admit you're wrong and go on. So one of the paths, I had 2 paths that I could travel. One was knowing that the Dragon Knight Prophecy, while perhaps a good story, that Royal Road is likely not the best website to try to be gaining traction on, try to be gaining an audience on. It's just not the kind of story people on this website are looking for. So I could go down the path of looking for better sites to host my story, better places to list it, or I could go down the path of writing a story more suited to the audience you find on Royal Road. I have always told myself that I'm a discovery writer, and I cannot write to order. I can't just sit down and make up a story to suit a need. Like if a magazine contacted me and said, hey, we want you to write a story about this, make it about, 5,000 words long, and have these elements in there and submit it by the end of the week, I couldn't do that because I don't write to order. I'm a discovery writer, wherein I start with a starting point, and then my imagination just kind of fills it in from that point. I don't have an outline. I don't have a roadmap. I don't have a plan. I just write. So I originally said, well, I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to try to write a lit RPG. And I started with King Kevin the Dragon Slayer, a story none of you have read because it was awful. I did not succeed in my first effort to write a lit RPG. I failed miserably. I failed so badly, I recognized it. I wrote 3 chapters of that. It took days. I can write 3 whole chapters of the Dragon Knight Prophecy, which usually I write like 5,000 to 10,000 words a chapter. I can write 3 chapters of that in a single day. It took me 3 days to get 3 chapters of King Kevin the Dragon Slayer out, and they were all like 1,500 to 3,000 words long. They were tiny in comparison to the Dragon Knight Prophecy. And the reason is the story wasn't coming. My discovery writing wasn't working. I started with a scene, and I started trying to write it, and the more I tried to write, the more it just wasn't coming together. I just wasn't seeing the next scene. I didn't have the motivation to drive through. I abandoned it. But I thought, maybe I can't do this. You know, this isn't a genre that I can embrace. So I wasn't going to write any more of these things. But a few days ago, I just started seeing a story in my head. And it circled around this girl, and I didn't know her name. I didn't know her exact circumstances. I just knew that because of some alien presence, she was pulled out of the Earth world into another world. And that other world was a fantasy world. And she was lost and confused. And, you know, I started to see this whole thing, and she hides from a monster in a graveyard, and she runs across a ghoul, but the ghoul is friendly for some reason. And they have kind of a tentative friendship, and the ghoul fills her in on where she is, and this all starts to... I started to see this story in my head, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to write this down. I'm going to start writing it and see what comes of it. And I wrote 2 small, tiny chapters. Compared to what I normally write, those were itty-bitty. And I thought, you know, maybe there's something here. You know what, here's what I'll do. I'll clean them up. I'll go through my editing process. Whether they're tiny chapters, this won't take long. I'll go through my editing process. I'll run them through Grammarly. I'll go back one last time after they're out of Grammarly just to see if I spot anything else. And then I'll throw them up on Royal Road. I'll see what happens. And I didn't have a name. I didn't know what I didn't know what I was going to call it. I already had the story on Royal Road, and I'm sitting there going, "What am I going to name this?" You know. And then as I was sitting there, I was starting to see more and more of the story unfold in my head. And I realized where it was going, and I thought, I know exactly what it's going to be named. This is Heather the Necromancer. And I wrote it down, I posted it, and I got to say, you know, right now it only has 21 followers, right? But here's the thing. As I record this right now, this story's only been up there for a little over 24 hours. It has 21 followers in 24 hours. The best day of the Dragon Knight's existence was the day it, by a magic miracle, it ended up on the trending list. Okay? And on that list, I went to Reddit, I went to Facebook, I went to everywhere. I tapped every social network I had. I splurged. I even left my house, went to the library in 2 separate towns, went to their bulletin boards and posted posters for the Dragon Knight Prophecy and instructions on how they could read it at royalroad.com. I went to their writers groups. I networked everyone I could touch to make them aware that I was writing this story. They could read it for free, and I would really appreciate it if they gave it a follow or a rating. In the time it was on that list, it got a couple of ratings, but my peak day, I got 5 followers. That is the best day of the Dragon Knight Prophecy's life. 5 followers in a single day. Heather got 11. Heather, in the first day of Heather being in line, it got 11 followers. And it's at 21 right now, and we're just going into the second day. Heather has blown everything the Dragon Knight Prophecy ever did out of the water. The Dragon Knight Prophecy didn't have a rating until almost a week after I posted it. I had, I don't know the exact number, but it was like 5 to 6 chapters of the Dragon Knight Prophecy were online for people to read. It had been read hundreds of times already. It had a few followers, but it was a little over a week before I got that first rating. And then it was a little over a week after that before I got the first full review. And that was by Pavuk. I will always remember you for that, Pavuk. But here's the thing. Heather the Necromancer, again, isn't even 2 days old. It has 6 ratings. This is a whole nother level category of success compared to the Dragon Knight Prophecy. And I wasn't prepared for it. I was not prepared for this level of acknowledgement and success. It's shocking. I got up the next morning. I posted one chapter in the morning, and then I posted another chapter closer to the evening of the same day. And then I got up the next morning and looked at it. I was like, what is going on? What the heck is going on here? I was stunned at how many people had already followed it. It was like, wait a minute. I wasn't expecting to be at 21 followers for like 2 weeks, This is, it's not doing as good as some of the other top stories are. I've watched some of these other stories grow by 100 followers a day. Okay, I've honestly seen that. But compared to the Dragon Knight Prophecy, this is a completely different animal. This is something that is it's done completely better. I think if I had a cover, it might garner. There's a lot of people who don't want to read stories that don't have covers. I'm not an artist, so I don't know. I don't know how to get myself a good cover. The Dragon Knight Prophecy cover was donated to me, but I don't know how to get a cover for Heather. So I think if I had a cover, it would get more notice. But even so, the notice it's getting is mind-blowing compared to... Because I've been poodling along with the Dragon Knight Prophecy for months, slowly going by a follow a day. Every couple of days I get another follower. Every week or so I get another rating or another review. And I'm trying to put 2 chapters out a week. 2 big 6,000 to 10,000 word chapters a week. And it's just, it's growing. It's always getting a little bigger. It's always getting a little more popular. But, when you're watching these other LitRPG stories just shoot by you, I thought, I have to try writing one of those. I really do. Because ultimately, I love writing. I love telling stories. And the more I write, the more I enjoy writing. I enjoy being in the chair writing. And I enjoy imagining these worlds. I enjoy living in my imagination and turning these worlds into the written world and sharing them with people. I'm not the best writer in the world. Maybe I'm not as descriptive as I need to be. Maybe my dialogue's a little sloppy, but I'm doing the best I can. And my stories, I hope at least, are getting a little better. That my technique and the quality is getting a little better as I learn every week, every month. I learn a little bit more about grammar, a little bit more about storytelling, a little bit more about being more concise and more focused on delivering what needs to be there in the scene and not wasting time on unnecessary details. Hopefully I'm going to reach a point where not everybody's ever going to love my story, but people aren't going to be being turned off because I'm misspelling words or I'm using punctuation wrong. Hopefully I'm going to reach that level of quality. I could really use a good editor, but hopefully I will reach that point. Anyway, I don't want to drag this on too much. I'm so excited that Heather has done this well. And if Heather continues to do this well, I'm going to put the story on a regular schedule, a regular release schedule, and I'm going to double or triple the chapter sizes. Right now, the first one was 1,500 words, I think, and the second one was right around the same amount. The third one was 2,500, I believe. If Heather continues to be like this, I'm going to probably bump her chapters up to 5,000 words and try to get to a 2-chapter-a-week schedule. I would love to make an income writing. I would love this to be my job. I would love to get up every day, come to my office, sit down at the computer, and let my imagination start to spin through these worlds. Write some Dragon Knight, write some Heather, talk to you readers. This is the life I would love to live. There's no way I'm ever going to do it without Patreon. There's no way I'll ever be able to achieve this, to basically make writing my living without donations. No one should ever donate to me if they don't absolutely love the story and they don't. You're not just sitting on free money. You know what I mean? I don't care if you never donate to me. All I care about is that you're enjoying the story. People's comments, people saying, hey, I love this, please write more. That means so much to me. Absolutely so much to me. But, like I said, I would love this to be my life. I would love to get up every morning and write some Heather and write some Dragon Knight Prophecy and tell my stories and just share my life with the community. Share my life with the readers, I don't know how to explain this the right way. I don't know how to get it a point. And I'm so enthused and excited, and I'm at 15 minutes in this recording, and I didn't want to go past 10 because I just want to keep talking because I love it. I absolutely love it. Anyway, we're going to cut it off right here. Thank you all so much for the warm response you've given Heather. Thank you for my existing Patreons and my existing readers of the Dragon Knight Prophecy. If you guys weren't there, Heather would never have existed. Because you kept me writing. When I thought that I was wasting my time and not getting anything done, you Dragon Knight people kept me going. And your story will never end. I hope the Dragon Knight people aren't worried that I'm going to drop them and go to Heather. That's never going to happen. My life, the blood that goes through my veins is the Dragon Knight Prophecy. But anyway, we're going to cut this here because now we're at 16 minutes. I love you all, and I will catch you in my next recording. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Good night.